Doctor, if this fails, he'll be permanently paralyzed. T8 and T9 are falling apart. Even using cadaver material, the construction is hopeless.
I disagree. The chromium steel reinforcing framework is...
Can't replace pulverized vertebrae, Dr. Oyama.
The patient knew the risks. We continue.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel just announced that Bullseye is officially returning for Daredevil Born Again episodes in the MCU, and since they canonized everything from the Netflix Defender shows to the MCU just a little while ago, I know there are tons of Adamantium, Weapon X, Wolverine side questions now, because we're also getting a lot of Wolverine really soon with Hugh Jackman in Deadpool 3. So we'll explain what's going on with Bullseye in the brand new episodes, what's going on with Adamantium in the MCU, and we learned about more of the Marvel Netflix Defenders characters coming back during the season since my last Daredevil video. So it's kind of like everybody all just suddenly coming back at the same time. That's because they just started filming Daredevil Born Again episodes again. That's why you're hearing about all these characters coming back. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. Of course, I will do full episode videos like I did for the classic Daredevil Netflix episodes, all the Defenders episodes. Gonna feel like old times. This is them actually talking about the Bullseye character.
For my character, this is him for the first time kind of uncaged. He's been on this psycho-emotional path. Part of who they are, they have violence in them. That's a way that they express themselves. So in some ways, this is like a joyful moment.
If you didn't see the news though, Bullseye confirmed a return during Daredevil Born Again. I just did a Bullseye video not too long ago. What a coincidence that they made an official announcement just a little while after I posted that. They're reporting he's going to have 3 episodes during the first part of Season 1, and they're changing how Season 1 is going to work since they rebooted the show. I don't know if he was in the show originally before they changed everything. I've talked a little bit about this in previous videos, but Kevin Foggy basically canceled production on Daredevil Born Again last year after all those strikes. Originally, they had a totally different plan for how Daredevil Born Again was going to play out in the MCU, a different way they were going to lay out all the episodes, even a different episode count. Kevin Foggy apparently decided that what they were doing, like the material that they'd already done, just was not working, so he fired all those people, then hired a bunch of the Marvel Netflix people from those shows and the Loki people to come redo everything. So for those of you hoping that they would bring back the people that made the Marvel Netflix shows so that it would make a quality Daredevil Born Again series, they literally did that. That's one of the reasons why you're hearing about them bringing back all the production people, not just the characters themselves. So the version of Daredevil Born Again that we see next year will be kind of like version 2 of the show. Really happy they're taking the time to make it quality. Like Kevin Feige was like, you know what, we spent a bunch of money on this, we're just going to rework everything because we want it to be quality. But this is why I say that in the original version of their plans, Bullseye probably would have not gotten Foggy Nelson the Karen Page treatment because we just found out about them coming back too. In the original version of the show, they were supposed to have been killed off, so thankfully they changed that. But because now they've confirmed that everything from Daredevil Season 3, everything from all of the Netflix shows is canon, during the ending of that, you can actually see Bullseye getting his new spine from the comics to replace the one that Kingpin broke. And based on the timing of when Daredevil Born Again episodes are going to happen, it sounds like they're going to make a few minor changes, like everybody was thinking about this in the background. Now they can finally say Bullseye's new spine is adamantium like it was in the comics. A lot of you were theorizing about this on my last Daredevil Bullseye video. Most of us, I think, were theorizing the same thing. Like, why don't they just say it's adamantium now? Because by the time that he shows up on the show, adamantium will be canon to the MCU. What happened originally is that when they were making the Daredevil Netflix series, like all the Netflix Defender series, because of the weird rights situation with Adamantium being part of the X-Men rights and Fox still owned all those X-Men characters like the Wolverine character, the Daredevil Season 3 showrunner said that they had to come up with some different story for Bullseye, and in that version they were going to say that Dr. Kenji Oyama here, who was the person in Marvel Comics who did canonically create the process Weapon X used to bond adamantium to Wolverine's skeleton, so in the comics he was behind all this adamantium. But because when they were actually making Daredevil Season 3, the Netflix universe was still treated like it was separate from the MCU and separate from the Fox X-Men stuff, they weren't legally allowed to use adamantium, so they were going to say that he replaced Bullseye's spine with a metal alloy called cogmium. Sort of like their discount copyright safe version of MCU adamantium that had been developed in the Netflix universe by Oracle, a subsidiary of Iron Fist Company in those Netflix Defender shows. So Iron Fist was going to be responsible for Bullseye's new indestructible spine. Indestructible metal spine like Wolverine, but copyright safe so they didn't get sued by Fox at the time. What a difference a couple years makes. During the original Marvel comics, like way back in the classic Daredevil comics, Dr. Kenji Oyama was from Japan and developed what he called the Adamantium process. Those notes were later stolen from him by the people running Weapon X, and they used the process to give Wolverine his adamantium skeleton. So this doctor was canonically meant to be the reason why Wolverine has his adamantium skeleton. Now in present day of the Marvel movies, Kevin Feige is finally introducing adamantium in the MCU during Captain America 4, using that dead celestial in the Indian Ocean. Apparently they're just going to say that adamantium grows naturally on his body. They're finally going to deal with that dead celestial everyone's been asking them about since it debuted at the end of the Eternals movie. The only real reference that any movies or shows had made to it since then was during the She-Hulk episodes of all places, where there was a joke reference about a giant man being stuck in the ocean. Turns out the reason why no movies taking place after the Eternals on Earth in the timeline have dealt with those consequences yet is Marvel was just saving the storyline for Captain America 4. Apparently as part of a subplot involving Thunderbolt Ross, Val, the Serpent Society, who are like lesser villains in the movie with ties to Val. In the comics, Val is known as Madam Hydra. Hydra has ties to the Serpent Society, so part of the idea, I think, is that Val has no problem hiring villains to do her dirty work that she needs done. And once adamantium is discovered on Tiamat's body, the entire world wants their hands on it, like companies, world governments, and Val basically wants to get everything for the United States before everybody else gets their hands on it. Originally, I kind of thought they were going to use the Thunderbolts movie and the Thunderbolts team to cover that, but it might just happen during Captain America 4. Basically, the takeaway is now we have adamantium inside the MCU. Also, because Marvel got the X-Men rights back, they can use the concept of adamantium, Weapon X, Wolverine now. So you kind of see what's going on in the background of all the movies. They're laying the track work in the MCU for a new version of Weapon X and Wolverine, but we won't actually see that new MCU Wolverine actor that they're going to recast till after Hugh Jackman is done playing his version of Wolverine in Avengers Secret Wars. Deadpool 3 is meant to set that up, like that's the beginning of Hugh Jackman coming back for a little kick, like a couple different movies, and Secret Wars will be the final time. They're using the next couple of movies to basically give the Marvel Fox characters their version of an Avengers Endgame kind of going out story, the way that they did for the original 6 Avengers. So it'll be a little bit like Spider-Man No Way Home, but X-Men No Way Home. And since Captain America 4 is going to be releasing around the time Bullseye is coming back on Daredevil Born Again episodes, now they can just say what the Netflix Daredevil people originally wanted to do and give Bullseye his adamantium spine from the comics. One of the other reasons why they waited so long to confirm all these Netflix shows were canon to the MCU was because of how some of those details would affect other plot points on MCU movies and shows. Really good example of this is all the adamantium stuff. Like, if you introduce adamantium to the MCU in like a TV show, it causes consequences in some of the movies. Like, wait a minute, there's all this plot that we were going to use it for. So this is what the producers mean when they talk about being careful the way they canonize all this stuff to the MCU. Supposedly Bullseye's only coming back for 3 episodes at first. It sounds like he'll be a minor antagonist during the first season, and Daredevil faces again at some point. Like, surprise, I'm back, and Daredevil just has to deal with him. Bullseye still hates Kingpin just as much as he hates Daredevil for what happened to him, because Kingpin is the person that broke his spine. So I don't think that he's working for Kingpin when things pick up. They'll probably have him working for someone else, and that's why he's in New York City. The main villain for the first part of Daredevil Born Again is supposed to be the Muse character, who's a relatively new villain they introduced in the recent Daredevil comics. I think the Kingpin might already be mayor. I did a video for their teaser at the end of the Echo series where he got the idea to run for mayor. There's going to be a little bit of a time jump when Daredevil Born Again picks up. But part of the idea is that Daredevil is just going to have to find a way to take Kingpin down when everybody in New York City believes that Kingpin is their savior. Like, he makes this promise to make New York City better. He tries to make the city better, quote unquote, but he does it in a really shady kind of Kingpin way. So it's one of those situations where Kingpin is still doing all the traditional Kingpin really, really shady stuff. And it sounds like Kingpin is going to be cleaning up the city by, quote unquote, getting rid of a lot of these dangerous vigilantes. Basically lying to the public, making them think that a lot of the ground level superheroes are just dangerous vigilantes going around killing people randomly. He literally did this during Daredevil Season 3. That's why he put Bullseye in the Daredevil costume during that season, so that he could have him do all this crazy stuff and then blame it on Daredevil. Like, see, it's Daredevil running around killing a bunch of people. And it sounds like Kingpin is going to continue hiring villains to get rid of all these ground-level heroes, vigilantes, Punisher, Daredevil, Spider-Man, and that's how Daredevil and Kingpin's storyline crosses over with the events of Spider-Man 4. A while ago, Kevin Foggy confirmed that what happens in Daredevil Born Again will influence the plot of Spider-Man 4, and Vincent D'Onofrio has separately been teasing going up against Spider-Man. Cannot wait to see some kind of Daredevil Spider-Man team up against Kingpin in some way, but I don't think that Kingpin would be like the main villain of Spider-Man 4. It'll be a Spider-Man specific villain, and they're supposed to use villains that they have not done in any of the Spider-Man movies before during that. That would be a really easy way for them to do a more comic book accurate version of Scorpion and pay off that Spider-Man Homecoming teaser, because they haven't really used him as a major villain yet. And they could just say that Kingpin is the person that hires him. We also found out Karen Page and Jessica Jones are coming back during the season. Karen Page is supposed to be in at least 3 episodes. Foggy Nelson probably in a little bit more, but Jessica Jones is supposed to get at least 2 episodes.
Scarf looked better. Nice ears.
They're horns.
She might even fly when they bring her back too. They kind of teased that during the Jessica Jones Netflix episodes, but they never got the chance to actually pay it off. But because they just started filming Daredevil Born Again episodes again, we'll probably get some more footage from the set soon. So if we see any really cool Easter eggs or any cool news, of course I'll do more Daredevil videos. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman were posting a bunch of new Deadpool 3 stuff, so I'll try to do a new Deadpool 3 video in the next couple of days. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. Click here for that brand new Deadpool video. I'll update the link as soon as I post that. And click here to learn about the Punisher coming back during Daredevil Born Again. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.